Hey my fairy friends, it's Melissa from Fairy Door Designs. If you watched my last video, we painted the front of this mushroom fairy door. Here, we're going to paint the back. We're going to be painting a cute little fairy on a purple background. I want the background to have an ombre effect. So I've picked a purple and I'm going to go ahead and paint this in the middle of the fairy door. It doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to blend it with other shades of purple. I think that looks good. I've mixed up a lighter shade of purple and I'm going to add that to the top portion of the door. I'm using my brush to blend it in with our first shade of purple, so there isn't a hard line where the two colors meet. Once I'm happy with how that looks, I'm going to apply this lighter shade of purple all the way up to the top of the door. I like to add a few strokes of our light purple throughout what we've painted so far, as I think this adds to the blended look. Now I'm going to go ahead and use a darker purple to add that to the bottom of our door. I've applied the paint directly to the door, and now, as we did before, I'm just going to blend it in. I've started at the bottom and I'm just making nice even strokes and moving the paint up so that it blends in with our previous colors. I'm happy with how this looks, and I think it complements the front of our fairy door quite nicely. You can see here the front of our fairy door, which we painted in our last video. You can find this on our channel. Now we're ready to add our fairy. I've got a cute little fairy stencil that I've had and been waiting to use. I think this is perfect for this door. I placed this stencil where I want it on the door, and I've taped it down so it doesn't move as we paint. I've decided to paint our fairy in a pastel pink. I'm going to grab a bit of the pink on my paintbrush and I'm just going to go ahead and stipple over the stencil. This is just an up and down movement of the paintbrush. I've found that if I use strokes to paint over the stencil, the paint usually slips under the stencil and I don't get nice clean edges. So my preferred method when working with stencils is to stipple. What's your favorite painting technique for working with stencils? I'd love to hear it in the comments below. If you'd like to create your own fairy, I've added a link to the fairy stencil in the video description. I've also linked all the other products we've used in this video. This process may take some time, but there's no need to rush our cute little fairy. We're almost done with the stippling. I'm just going over everything once more to make sure we haven't missed any bits. I think this is going to look nice, but now it's time to take off the tape and have a look. I'm going to slowly peel back the tape so we don't accidentally smudge anything. I can't wait to see how she's turned out. I'm really happy with how this looks. Let's add a bit more detail. I've selected a magenta color. I'm going to use this to outline our fairy to make her stand out a bit more from the background. Now let's give her a yellow star on her wand. I've chosen some bright yellow paint and I'm going to paint the star yellow. I think the fairy wand is looking great, but to be honest, I'm not really happy with the magenta I used earlier. So I've grabbed some white paint and I'm going to outline our fairy again. Hopefully I'll be a bit happier with how this looks. I'm much happier with how this white is turning out, and I think it suits our door a lot better. We're almost done with this fairy door, but if you have any ideas for things I should paint on fairy doors, I'd really love to hear them. Please leave a comment on the video with what I should paint next. I'm really pleased with how the back of this door turned out. I do hope it makes one fairy really happy when I place it in the fairy forest. Thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe if you'd like to paint more fairy doors with me.